A portion of this podcast is brought to you by my friends at Polar Bear Plumbing, Heating, and Air. Polar Bear Plumbing, Heating, and Air, it's so great to know they're available at any time. Maybe you got a nighttime emergency. They've got a wonderful crew, and they're going to get out there and take care of it. Clogged toilet? Take care of it. Clogged shower. I have long hair, like really long hair, and I constantly am clogging that drain. Ryan, you love that. And one thing that Ryan absolutely despises doing is cleaning out the hair, which I should be doing it, but you do it, but you don't have to do it anymore because as disgusting as it is, they're only professionals at Polar Bear Plumbing, Heating, and Air, so they will come out and they will clean it out, and they won't be judgy.
Can I tell you, the technician who came out
Caleb Hart
was the nicest person I've ever met in my life.
Literally so sweet. And they just hire the best of the best when it comes to people. So I have no problem anytime someone is talking about maybe they got some issues with their air conditioner, they're worried about this summer coming up, or maybe they have a plumbing problem and they don't know what to do. I love being able to tell them about the folks at Polar Bear Plumbing, Heating, and Air. They are family owned and operated, like the best family. So great. They're locally owned and operated, which is important. You want to talk to somebody right here and not get put through a call center where you don't even understand what the person's saying. And they are veteran owned and operated. That's the triple threat, y'all. So why not write down their info? PolarBearPHA.com. That's PolarBearPHA.com. A proud sponsor of the podcast.
I'm going to say the thing you're not supposed to say.
Let's talk about marriage.
They have like a 2-second rebound rate and you're back doing the next pain in the ass thing.
Parenting. Oh my gosh.
They have sucked the pretty right out of me. They treat me like it, and I do their laundry. Lucky me.
Sex.
I'm caught between two evils. I generally like to take the one I never tried.
Scary stuff like ghosts. I know it's totally out of left field, but just go with me on this.
Boo, you whore.
Love.
I give you what you need. That's all. I'm talking about taking care of each other the best you can. What's wrong with taking care of a woman? She takes care of you.
Friendships.
Wink and her necklace says best friends forever.
Actually, you want it to say forever? I don't think you guys will be best friends forever, no offense. But sometimes you grow apart, and maybe she'll find a new best friend. They end up doing everything together.
Hey, everybody, and thank you so much for listening to the podcast today. We're going to start out with myself and my partner, Ryan.
I love how many different names. I know we talk about this a lot, but you got so many different names for me. And I just sit back and I wait for what it's going to be today. And I know what type of mood you're in by what you say.
Well, what kind of mood am I in?
You'll say, you said partner today.
Partner.
Right? You've said best friend, lover, confidant, live-in spouse. That one, I know you're mad at me on those days. But
typically, or basically a roommate.
Yeah. You've said roommate. Partner is like a couple steps above those. So I don't know what I've done to upset you today, but I'm sorry.
No, you have done nothing. I just feel kind of weird saying lover because I actually have family members that listen to this and they
picture it.
Yeah.
Okay,
they
sure.
totally picture it. And I'm sure because that's just natural,
of course.
when somebody says, and this is something I do way too much. I actually will sometimes picture people, what they look like doing it.
You do that a lot because you talk to me about that a lot.
I do.
Yeah.
I do that a lot. And
so just know if Sadie's talked to you and your spouse, she's probably wondered, I wonder what they look like.
And that's disgusting. And I don't know why I do it, but I do.
Yeah.
It's my cross to bear. And I just, everywhere I go, I'm like, wonder what they look like naked. That's like I'm like a 12-year-old boy. So anyway, thank you so much for joining us today. A little bit later in the show, we're going to have Misty Gemstone. And it's actually a topic that I should have had you sit on because it was so interesting. We talked about food and the effects that it has on your mental health. Big time. And so she's going to be coming up. We just wanted to do a little intro, say hello before we jump into Misty Gemstone. And is there anything, because I want to talk about the AMA Awards with J-Lo.
I think we leave that aside because you don't want to get me started talking about J-Lo because I'll go a half hour on Why?
He thinks she's the worst person in the world. And I'm like,
no,
really?
there's other people that are the worst person in the world, but why is she famous? And she's so, to steal a term from yesteryear, she's so thirsty.
So thirsty.
Like, and now she's like, oh, I'm going to be, I don't know what. I'm going to go make out with people on stage and these guys, these girls. And like,
that had like a total effect on a generation when Madonna did it with Britney Spears
25 years ago.
I know, but I mean, with Christina Aguilera, that was like a holy cow. That was a water cooler moment where you were like, can you believe they did that? It's 2025 and she did it. And not only did she kiss a boy and a girl, which whatevs, but I don't know if it's just how good quality TVs are these days, but she looked a little geriatric. And that's not me being negative. I'm just, when you see on TV somebody,
listen,
and it looks like their face is just caked on. It was that.
Caked on. I'm not taking anything away from. She puts a lot into her aesthetic and looks, and she does look good for her age. Absolutely. God bless her. But she's like, I don't know, like she's trying to make fetch happen. Like she's trying to like always interject herself into something. And no, I don't know anybody wants her to interject herself. I know I don't, but that's me. And also she's been engaged 7 times.
You have a friend who's been engaged multiple times.
3 times.
3 times is a lot of times.
Yeah. But she's been engaged 7 times.
Yeah. But she also, okay, J-Lo has been able to get a divorce that many times because J-Lo doesn't have to be trapped. J-Lo has millions and millions of dollars. I think celebrities divorce so easily because it's easy. It's like, you know what? You're pissing me off. And then rather than having to see that person every morning when you get coffee or go to bed with them at night, it's easy for rich people to be like,
I'm getting a different house.
I'm going to this other home.
Sure. And
so I think that it's a different world for J-Lo. You know, it's easy to throw in the towel because she has so much money.
She's famous for like being engaged. Like, honest to God, she had like 1 or 2 songs, 20.
And they say she didn't even sing them.
And then she was in Selena.
Yeah.
That's it. Other than that, she's been awful for like 2 decades. Why is she famous?
Well, I don't know why she keeps putting herself through this, because after she made that movie about herself, which was weird, which was so weird. Please watch it, everybody. But after she did that, she took a beating on it. And I'm like, good for you, J-Lo, for getting back out there and not letting all that negativity affect you. But on the other hand, it's true. There's such a thirsty vibe, you know, it was very thirsty.
So this actually is going to do a crossover of threads here. What?
Well, before you jump to that, I just want to say, tune in on Friday because it's the weekly roundup where I talk about things trending, music, movies coming out. And I'm going to be talking all about the AMA Awards this Friday.
Can I ask you?
Sure.
This, Venn diagram or crossover thread here. Why hasn't Jennifer Lopez been in the media about P. Diddy?
I don't know.
She was with him for a long time.
But I don't think she wants to get involved. She doesn't want to get involved.
No one wants to get involved, but there's names being thrown around quite a bit. Haven't heard hers.
I think unless they are subpoenaed to be there, they're not going to touch that with a 10-foot pole.
No one's touching it, but people are being interjected, right? Like, LeBron James was there. This person, like, she was not engaged to him, but with him forever.
Okay, well, thank you for hanging out with us while we do a little chatting before Misty Gemstone, who come. What?
But before we jump onto Misty, can I ask something?
Yeah.
Will you stop by and, speaking of food and making you feel bad, will you stop by and snacks?
Done.
Like
done and done.
Get some things. I'm like, and
what did I get?
No, I'm just late night. It's hard to control.
It is so hard. I don't know when this happened, but I became a late night eater myself.
Me too.
Yeah. And
I am great for 70% of the day. And then at night, it's like a werewolf takes over.
I know. And I've really, and this can't be healthy for me, but I've started taking Advil PM. So it knocks my ass out, because if you're sleeping, you're not eating. And I don't know. I will try my very best. But there are times where I really want a snack. And so it's like, can we not have good snacks forever now?
I don't know. We have to navigate what's going to be a good snack, because I was thinking about this just on the topic with Misty Gemstone. I want just a little bit of a chocolate treat. I mean, little, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking 1 or 2 chocolate covered almonds, like something like that. But we don't have any chocolate covered almonds. We don't have much other chocolate. But the thing we had in our fridge that was chocolate?
What?
Those like ice cream cones that are like waffle cones and like chocolate.
Oh, yeah.
So like,
yeah.
all right, well, let's have one of those. I don't like that.
Yeah, but you know what? If we get strong and decide to make like protein balls where the sweetness comes from agave nectar, you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Like, I feel like in that situation, then we're not hitting peak true happiness. I have to tell you that this afternoon I'm cleaning and I'm like, God dang it. It's the same thing every single week.
What?
Cleaning and doing laundry and stuff. And then I ate 3 Keebler Elf cookies. And
Sure.
it was a...
I know what you did. Sorry.
What?
You bought 4 boxes of Pop-Tarts.
I was weak. Yeah, that was a weak moment.
Yeah.
Are they gone?
No, they're not gone, but like they're just sitting in there and it's just like, what are you doing?
I know.
So now I've taken to like, when I get a snack, I'll slice up an apple and do some peanut butter with it.
Ugh.
And I'm like, okay, there we go. That'll be
Not as good.
Not as good, but I feel great afterwards.
I know.
Opposed to being like, what's a s'more Pop-Tart feeling like now?
Oof, so good. And did you say schmore?
I don't know. The mic fell.
Equipment is breaking. All right. Well, without further.
You combine further and food.
What
Food
a
is on the brain.
loser. I know. Without further ado, here's my conversation this week with Misty Gemstone. Take it away, future Sadie. Well, shall we do it, Misty?
We shall. Let's do this.
I've missed you. Even though I've seen you in real life, we haven't talked in a while.
I know. And I mean, even seeing each other in real life hasn't been that often because, my schedule has been
I know you're
wild.
Again, you have 3 kids and they're involved in every sport that's known to man.
It's true.
And you were saying were you in Denver last night?
I was down in Longmont.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Oh my God.
Not too far, but there was just a bad accident on 25 coming home.
So I wanted to ask you, do you ever listen to Joe Dispenza? Have you heard of him? You've heard of him.
I know the name. That's not in my current lineup of podcasts.
I don't even know if he has a podcast, but I watch YouTube videos and he talks about like energy and like the importance of starting your day off on the right foot, and which can be so hard. I know I'm throwing you a curveball because today we're going to be talking about food and the effects that food has on your mental health. But I wanted to see it because usually you're on the curve of where I'm like, have you listened to this person? You're like, yeah, I've already read like 4 books from them. So I thought I got to ask Misty if she's heard of this guy. But he talks about even when bad things happen or you struggle with something, it's all in your perspective of how you can turn your brain around. Because I think it's so easy to get sucked into that self-doubt and that just, second guessing yourself and
it's so true.
It's so true. And so I love him. So whoever's listening, just go on YouTube, Joe Dispenza, because
he does have a podcast episode from last year, How to Become the Creator of Your Life and Attract Anything, through the School of Greatness podcast, which is not his, but he's a guest on it.
Yeah. But School of Greatness, does he only talks to like 4 people, right? He talks to like Deepak Chopra. I can't say his name. Deepak Chopra.
Lewis Howes is the host of it. Is it that one?
Yeah.
Yeah. He does talk to, he talks to more than 4 people, but
He does. Maybe it's just what I'm fed.
it's probably what you're fed. But it's so true. Going back to Joe Dispenza, like, and going back to one of our past episodes, right? The power of a morning routine and like starting your day on your terms, not on other people's terms. Like when you start your day sleeping until the last minute, because then you know, okay, I have to get up and get the kids out the door, get to work or whatever. There's no space for you. Whereas if you can start your day with a buffer for you, then you can actually start it on your terms. Same with like not jumping into your phone or social media right away, because then your day is starting with everybody else's emotions being fed into you, whether it's an email or a social media post. However, let's say you have a day where you oversleep and you know that panic when you're like,
Yeah.
and then the whole day is like terrible. You can restart your day at any time. And that's what I work with a lot of people on, is that mindset thing. Just because it's noon, if you've had a really like crappy day, there's no reason you can't take a pause, reset and say, okay, I'm going to restart my day now. Let everything go. Shift your mindset.
What does your morning look like? How long do you give yourself in the morning? Because they say, well, Joe Dispenza, he says, you know, everybody is kind of programmed in this day and age to wake up in the morning and, like you said, turn to your phone, that's the first thing that people do. Not everybody, but majority of people, they say, do this. And so he says, do not touch your phone and spend like an hour. See, but that's so hard to do. But he said, you know, spend like an hour if you can to kind of take you time and kind of set that intention for your day. And apparently
it's empowering when you can do that. I think on a good morning, hit the hour mark because I'm doing other things. I'd say on an average morning, it's probably 30 minutes at least. It just depends on what my morning holds. You know, I'm also in that morning workout crowd. So
I know you are in that crowd.
Pushes me.
Misty is the type, we live in the same neighborhood. She's the type where before the sun's even up, she's running or walking or like at the gym. You go to like really hard classes. I'm such a wiener.
I invite you to join me anytime.
I know. I need to be better, but I just can't. I need to be better, and I can. See, this is what Joe Dispenza says. He's like, don't plant those seeds in your brain of like, I can't do that. You have to, you know, I don't know. It's just been really interesting to listen to him.
Yeah, no, it's true, right? Like, don't close your own door on yourself, like by saying, I can't do that.
Yeah. Well, and also he talks about, and this is a little bit harder for me to kind of follow, but he talks about attracting things into your life. So if you're looking for love, if you're looking for money, if you're looking, you know, you can attract those things. But the way that you do it is you pretend that you already have these things and then you base your emotions off of, which I feel like that's a level of mental mastery that I just can't fathom. How do you pretend you have a sports car when you don't? Or how do you calm your fears if you have financial problems and you're supposed to pretend like those? It's just that I have a harder time grasping. I mean, I want to believe it, but I don't know.
I think there's a lot of like power that comes from thinking like that and thinking, and I've already done this, I've already accomplished it. If it's a goal you're working towards. However, finances for one, there's a lot more to digest and like work through if you are like in major debt and working towards something. Like there's a relationship there with money that you need to work through and figure out some more like
how to get out of that. Yeah.
But even like the historical like attachments you've attached to money, and it can go back to how you were raised and how money was in your family growing up and things like that have gotten you to the point you're at. Whereas that future projection can be helpful, but there's other things you need to do in addition to. But yeah, I think for a lot of people who are in a pretty good place mentally, like that is a great approach to achieving goals or working towards goals.
Yeah. Now, that's not even what we're talking about today. I just kind of sprung that on you because I try to spend my mornings now listening to this guy because I do think it's a good reminder. I mean, even though it's hard for me to follow if you think you have a sports car and feel like you have that's so, I can't figure that out. But
that's in the manifestation, right?
Yeah, it's manifestation, which I think is good to a point.
Yes.
You know, I mean, I don't think you should base your whole life on it, but I think it's good to a point. But what we're talking about today is the correlation between eating and what you put into your body and your mental health. And I was reading a little bit about it this morning, and I just have such issues with anxiety. And I think a lot of people do. It seems like more often than not, when, you know, you hear people talk about mental health, anxiety is always tied into this. And I was reading this morning just about how your body processes food, how your insulin regulates and spikes and how that affects your brain because it gives you such anxiety. Now, I break it down to a really basic thing. I try not to have coffee in the morning because I think anybody with anxiety, coffee is just it just gets you going, you know, it gets your brain working. And so I try not to do that, but this makes complete sense. I mean, whether we're talking about the chemicals that they put in food or I also think we should touch on food and just the after effects of eating certain ways. You know, if you eat like garbage, you have that shame feeling. Ryan, would you say it's time for me to get a trim in my hair? Like, have you looked at it and been like, damn, you look raggedy?
No, if anything, I've looked at it and been like, damn, she looks good.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Because when I look in the mirror, I see that my roots have grown out. I see I have split ends. That is so nice of you to say, though. I'm just going to digress. How sweet of you. But I don't know. I look at myself in a different way, and I'm a little bit more critical. I know that my hair could be in such better shape. I know it. But I need that professional help of Christiana Salon Spa to kind of guide me. What products do I need? How do I brush my hair the correct way? Curling it, you're such not a girl, Sadie. Let's show you how to do it. They are always so great, and you're going to get just amazing customer service there. So go see my friend Chris at Christiana Salon Spa. Obviously, she's the owner if you didn't put that together. And keep listening here to the podcast because we are giving away gift certificates to Christiana Salon Spa. Christiana Salon Spa, a proud sponsor of the podcast. Again, like a spring, they're going to take care of you. It's GarageDoorServiceandSales.com. Garage Door Service and Sales is a proud sponsor of the podcast. What are your thoughts?
I think you're going in a lot of different areas. So we're going to figure out
you know what?
It's so broad. That's why when you told me, I was like, well, are we going to be talking about like being more mindful when we eat? Because then that's the diet culture, the shame, and like how we cope emotionally with food. And, you know, so there's a lot of different areas there versus the nutritional value tied to some mental health things. I think in the last decade, I'd say the connection of nutrition and mental health has really started to come to surface. Like a lot more people have been doing research on the connection of nutrition and mental health that historically hasn't been done prior, on top of everything you just said with our food being garbage. And even healthy food is processed with so many chemicals on it right now, that you see a lot more nutritional deficiencies and challenges with our food and mental health here than you do.
Where did you go? I was just going to text you. Where did you go?
I was just talking and my screen disappeared.
I know you were just gone in a second. And I'm like, well, I guess we're going to just hit the 11-minute mark and be done. So
I have no idea what happened.
Where do you want to start with this? Because I do go in so many different directions. And where would you like to go with it?
Well, let me ask you, what prompted wanting to talk about this? What did you see or read or hear initially that was like, let's talk about this?
Well, I mean, reading about how it affects anxiety and then, just starting to think about anxiety, which could come from the shame of what you're eating, but it can also come. So again, I'm going in so many different directions, but I think there are so many correlations to, again, what you put in your body versus, and the effects of it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, I would say we could start with like nutritional deficiencies. And I'm not a nutritionist, but there is a lot of correlation now with mental health and nutrition to the point where there are like specialties out there that people can work to get certified in, like nutritional mental health.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's definitely become a bigger like aspect within the mental health world and even in training for therapists, psychologists, psychiatrists, just digging in. And it's a little bit more on the holistic approach, right? Like healing yourself from within, not only for physical challenges and physical health, but also mental health. And so you have the holistic approach. Let's start with that because one of the biggest ties is like our gut health, right? Mm-hmm. Like the gut is sometimes referred to as like the brain of our body. So your gut health actually then has an impact on your mental health. With increase in, if you have really unhealthy gut, increase in ADHD, bipolar disorder, anxiety, depression, because of the dysregulation and inflammation that we experience in our body. So that's one area that you can start on. And, gut health can be because of the quality or lack thereof of the food you're eating, highly processed foods, a lot of the sugars, right? Sugar. Hey, I love sugar.
Is so bad. I know.
It's so bad for you though, but I love it. But it's terrible. And I think that ties also to emotional eating because that's something a lot of us may have learned along the way is coping with emotions through food. And a lot of times it's a sugar-based food because it just feels good in the moment, right? Like you
get that
feel better.
Hit. Yeah.
You do. Absolutely. And then it leads to headaches. It leads to inflammation. Like sugar is like a poison when your body processes it. Right. And it can lead to that like dysregulation in your gut. So that's one thing to look at with gut health.
Not to interrupt you, but is this something that you talk to your patients about?
I don't typically go in as much in depth if it's something that comes up where we're trying to connect like mood changes, emotional well-being, and we do look at diet because diet and nutrition is something I want to know. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to hone in on it, but if there are some like yellow or red flags there or interest, since it's not my specialty, then I can refer them either to a holistical like nutritionist who connects mental health or somebody in the mental health field that has gone on to get like their nutrition certification. Training. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, sugar it's such a cycle because if you eat for emotion to get that dopamine hit, everything other than exercise, I can't think of anything else that gives you that dopamine hit that isn't bad for you. It seems like most things. Yeah. And exercise, which those are the only two. Can you think of anything else?
I think if there are other things like just connecting with people, good friendships, having that communication, like talking with a friend, even if it's like a 5 or 10 minute conversation on the phone or in person, can give you a little bit of a dopamine hit too. Like that connection, just because we're wired as humans to connect. And if you can have that like actual connection, not just texting, which texting and laughter can give you. And I say texting and laughter because I'm envisioning just like a a text stream of like GIFs or GIFs, whatever you want to call them, and just, or reels or memes that just make you laugh, and you can just like shoot them back and forth. Like that can give you a dopamine hit.
Yeah, that's true. Talking more about food, do you want to go into more of the emotional aspect of food, or would you be more interested in talking about the physical? Because I feel like we've covered both of them. So what am I missing here? Because it is so prevalent in eating and then how you feel. So I guess what am I trying to get out here?
Some of the nutritional deficiencies where we do end up seeing impacts in like mental health or our well-being, moods, things like that, there is a lot of deficiencies in vitamin D. There's a lot of deficiencies in iron, vitamin B. And so those are ones, hopefully everybody's getting their annual physicals done where they get labs, but I know that that's not the case for everyone.
Right.
Go get your labs done and just see what your levels are at. And it's really interesting because you can actually have your labs that going to just like a general practitioner, your PCP, let's say, not anywhere in any kind of specialty. If they are just making sure they're in the guidelines of, oh yeah, this is, you're normal, because those are what the guidelines are set. You might think, okay, everything's great. But if you then go to a nutritionist who specializes in like mood or, we're hitting perimenopause and menopause and all of that, right? With our ages.
I sweat. I sweat when I sleep. What is the deal with that? Do you ever do that where you wake up and you're just like drenched in it? It's the
You feel
worst.
like a fever broke?
Yeah. Yes. It's like so uncomfortable, and it just it's happening more often for me. I even changed bedding because I'm like, it's the bedding. I'm just getting hot no, it's not the bedding.
But like if you go to a nutritionist who specializes in a lot of different like ways our body functions, to include mood, they can look at those labs. You could send that you got taken with your primary care, and they might say, oh, it is in the normal range. However, I'd really like you to be in like this range for optimization of your health and your mood. Whereas like the standard range is much larger. And so they can highlight some things that are actually not in the normal range if you want to see improvements in mood and mental health. So iron, vitamin B, vitamin D, and then that's where a lot of supplements come in. But for whatever reason, and I think a lot of people don't go outside as much. We live in an area where a lot of people do, but the natural vitamin D you can get from being outside or with the sun can have a huge impact on your mood. I mean, also think of like seasonal depression,
Right.
SAD, seasonal affective depression.
Oh, wow. That's the acronym for it. I've never really even thought about that, but it's true. I mean, where we're at, it's been rainy the past couple of days. I love the rain, but the gray skies, after a couple of days, you think, what is going on? To where this morning I woke up and I was like, it is so pretty outside. It's so it does definitely change your effects. What supplements do you take? And also, what vitamins do you take? Because I've always heard vitamins, you just, for the most part, you pee out.
Yes, there are poor quality vitamins versus higher quality. And I would definitely recommend anyone wanting to do that to do your research or talk to somebody who specializes in that. For me personally, there are, it's a multi-day or a multivitamin once a day for women that I take. I order it through an external company for me because it doesn't make me feel sick, right? Sometimes you take vitamins and they make you feel nauseous. So I like that one. And then I do take extra iron. I noticed for myself that I was probably pushing anemia and becoming anemic for whatever reason. Even through pregnancies, I've never struggled with that. But I just noticed lately, like every day I'm like, I need red meat. I need red meat. I need red meat.
Oh, you crave it?
I did for a while. And I'm like, this is not right. Like that shows an iron deficiency. And so I started taking iron supplements in addition to my daily vitamin.
I think I'm just blown away because you are so in tune with your body to where I think majority of people, they're like, I want red meat. And then they don't realize that, I think you have to be more, I'm speaking to myself. I need to be more in tune with what's going on, because that usually means a deficiency in something. If you're dealing with something, maybe it's night sweats. I'm actually going to the doctor to get a hormone pellet put in, because what do you think about that? I know this isn't food related, but what do you think about the hormone pellets?
I think they can serve a purpose for people who genuinely need it. And if you've gone and gotten the right labs pulled and like you're feeling and seeing the improvement, then great, do it. I also think additional to hormones, there's a big market out there for people to sell their own supplements that might not be
kosher,
really worth your money. But it's a
I see. Like, are you talking about like the gummies where they're like
all sorts of things? Yeah.
I never believe in those gummies. I just don't.
But I think there's value, and especially if it's the bioidentical hormone replacement therapy?
Yeah.
That is better for you than more of a synthetic made hormone, which the pellets I think are bioidentical.
Any thoughts to end this episode on food, on mental health, on...
I think a recommendation, it always falls back to journaling or like keeping a log somehow. But I would say if you're out there curious about the impact of how you're eating or your nutrition on your potential mood or mental health, if you don't log your food, just do it for like a few days or a week. But I would also note like feeling really fatigued or feeling depressed or feeling more anxious. Yeah. With what you're eating. So if I woke up this morning and I felt really exhausted, one, I'd want to note my sleep overnight, but two, what did I eat in the latter part of the day prior? Mm-hmm. And then, you just keep that journal for a week, what you're eating and your symptoms you're experiencing, because that might bring some awareness to you as well for how certain foods impact your body. And so then that could be like, oh, wow, I get headaches every time I eat X, or I eat ice cream before bed and then I have poor sleep. The dairy and the sugar, at nighttime actually disrupts my sleep and I can't get quality sleep. And so that impacts my mood and, it's a whole cycle. So I would just recommend starting there for some personal awareness. And then once you have that awareness, you can decide next steps on what you want to do for improvement.
It sounds like it's all about narrowing it down.
It's just having awareness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, thank you so much for coming on today. Per usual, I've missed talking to you in this format because, again, I've seen you a few times and we've been able to talk, but it's been nice to talk to you today. I never know how to end this. I never know how to end these episodes. And so I'm going to cut the cord. Thank you so much for listening. And that's it.
Thank you.
Was that corny? God, I hate ending things. I hate it.
Oh, you're hilarious.
As I get older, I really have an eagle eye for things that maybe I didn't even look at when I was younger. I can guarantee I didn't look at this stuff when I was younger, but now I can tell you that I am officially obsessed with garage doors. I look at them when we drive in neighborhoods. I like to look at what kind of garage doors are out there. And you know what else? I am so jealous of people who have garage doors that are like, instead of sliding glass doors, boring, thumbs down. We all got them. Nobody wants them. You can get one of those garage doors that go up and down and they're glass. They're so cool, so stunning. And I am truly obsessed. But let me digress here and tell you about my friends at Garage Door Service and Sales. These guys have been really ride or die. I've been doing endorsements for them for almost 20 years. They are wonderful, wonderful people. And if you don't believe me, which I hope you do, but if for some reason you don't believe me, all you got to do is go on and look at the ratings and the reviews of the service, and you're going to be blown away. So whether you want a brand new bougie garage door, or maybe there's something wrong with your garage door you have and you just want to get it fixed. It's a spring. It's a really loud motor. It won't open or close at all. You got to call my friends at Garage Door Service and Sales. They cover all the bases for not only homeowners, but for business owners as well. So if you got big jobs, they'll take care of you as well. Or if you got something small, again, like a spring, they're going to take care of you. It's GarageDoorServiceandSales.com. Garage Door Service and Sales is a proud sponsor of the podcast.